Taiwan Semiconductor, they make chips for Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, you may have heard of them, reporting results tomorrow. Here with an investor guide and 3 key things to watch in chip earnings, we've got our very own Akiko Fujita. Akiko, what are you keeping tabs on?
Yeah, you mentioned Taiwan Semiconductor, Brad. Always a good bellwether for global chip demand, given that they produce nearly all of the world's advanced chips. That full quarterly report is out overnight, but we got initial numbers from the company last week, a surge in sales in the third quarter being reported out there, with revenue in Q3 coming in at $23.6 billion. That marked a 36.5% growth year on year. Investors are going to be watching closely for guidance where that revenue outlook comes in, especially given what we saw from chip equipment maker ASML yesterday. The Dutch company cut their 2025 outlook on sustained weakness in parts of the semiconductor market that weren't related to AI, and that led to ASML's steepest sell-off in 2 decades. It dragged down other chip-related stocks as well. Now, AI chip demand certainly going to be a key focus throughout these earnings. How long can this momentum continue? That's the big question here. Investors showing some optimism on that front following recent comments from NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. Huang saying that NVIDIA's latest Blackwell chip is, in his words, in full production with insane demand. Morgan Stanley reiterating that in a note, saying Blackwell orders are booked out, in their words, 12 months or so, with indication that business remains robust with very high demand there. Wall Street estimating earnings of 73 cents a share for NVIDIA, with $33 billion in revenue. Net income is expected to come in at $18 billion. Now, data center demand also going to be a key focus here when you consider what we have seen from NVIDIA as well as AMD. We're talking about triple-digit growth there. And finally, the story I'm watching closely is Intel and what that means for companies like AMD. The struggles for Intel have been well documented. The company announcing a $10 billion cost-cutting measure, including cutting its global workforce 15%. There's been reports of a Qualcomm considering a potential takeover as well. But Brad, AMD in some ways has been a beneficiary on the back of that, specifically on CPUs, where they compete directly with Intel. So we'll see if they continue to chip away at that market share as well. A lot to cover over the next few weeks.
Yes, indeed. Akiko, thanks for breaking it all down for us. Certainly do appreciate it. Yahoo Finance's own Akiko Fujita.